The wind howled through the skeletal remains of Dover's End, a town so forgotten that even the oldest maps no longer marked its existence. It was as if time had swallowed the place whole, leaving only whispers in its wake. Yet, to those few who dared to venture into its darkened streets, the echoes of its past were impossible to ignore. The past, however, was not always a distant thing in Dover's End. Sometimes it returned restless and furious. Lydia Graves had heard the legends of the ghost, the restless spirit of Thomas Pierce, the first and only governor of the USA colony. A man so obsessed with power and control that his tyranny had destroyed the very people he sought to rule. His name had been erased from every book, every record, but the ghost remained, trapped in the ruins of what once was. Her curiosity had brought her to this forsaken place, but Lydia wasn't prepared for the sense of dread that clung to the air. As she stepped into the colony's crumbling streets, the hairs on the back of her neck stood at attention. The town was suffocatingly quiet, save for the persistent thrum of her heartbeat in her ears. Her journey led her toward the imposing structure that had once been Pierce's mansion, the seat of power. The mansion loomed like a fallen titan, its jagged silhouette cutting through the mist. Inside, the floorboards creaked as if reluctant to bear the weight of any living soul. The air inside was thick with decay, the walls lined with peeling wallpaper that seemed to moan as it clung to the walls. Every step Lydia took was accompanied by the faint sounds of whispers, like the voices of the lost settlers who had lived and died under Pierce's iron rule. She shivered, uncertain whether the voices were real, or if her own mind was playing tricks on her. At the heart of the mansion, in what had once been the grandest room, Lydia found a broken mirror, its reflective surface streaked with grime. But as she looked into it, something else reflected back, a shadowy figure standing in the doorway behind her. The figure was tall, unerringly thin, and dressed in the tattered remnants of what had once been fine clothing. His face was pale, his eyes sunken and wild, yet they burned with an intensity that seemed to pierce through her very soul. Lydia's breath caught in her throat as she realized the truth. It was Thomas Pierce. His ghost had waited all these years for someone to see him, to acknowledge his torment. "You shouldn't have come," Pierce's voice rumbled, a low and guttural sound that reverberated through the room. "No one should come here." Lydia turned to face him, heart pounding. "Why are you still here?" she demanded. "You're dead. You've been dead for centuries." The ghost's mouth twitched in what could have been a smile, though it was a twisted mockery of one. "Death was never my end. It was my punishment. I was cast aside, erased, but I never stopped watching. I never stopped waiting.